This is Play North, the Manitoba Games Show. The Manitoba Games, powered by Manitoba Hydro, are coming to Thompson March 4th to 10th. Check out www.manitoba.ca to register as a volunteer, which we're going to walk through right away, or to access our online store for information on the games. Use hashtag PlayNorth if you're looking for us on social media. I've got Stuart Walter here, but in this capacity, a number one volunteer, Samantha Leahy, who is our volunteer chair. And what we're going to do is we're going to walk through a registration. So Stuart hasn't registered yet, shame on him. So we're going to get that done right now, and we're going to sort of film walking through the process so that you can see just how easy it is to become a volunteer here with the Manitoba Games. Like we said, www.manitobagames.ca. Click on the big yellow arrow, and that'll take you to the page that Samantha has right here on her iPad, and we're going to get started. So what's move number one if you want to get signed up as a volunteer?
Okay, so you start with your legal name, and as you fill it in, it'll generate your username. So what'll happen here is it'll be the name used on your accreditation patch, which will get you into your secure areas if necessary. If you go by a different name than what your legal name is, you can always put that on your badge. And then you go into your demographics, so you do your address, your phone numbers, emails, because all of our information goes out through emails. There's a place for date of birth as well, because your date of birth will generate which consent you get. So if you're underage, your parent consent will develop, and if not, it'll just be your regular consent.
So, and part of the reason, as Stuart walks through that, part of the reason that it's so important that we have you register online and work your way through this process is that this then feeds into our scheduling software, also into our accreditation program, if you want to call it that. And in addition to that, you get newsletters and things like that that are generated through GEMS Pro. Am I telling the truth on all of that?
That is entirely correct. All of our information is sent out through emails. So all of your shifts will be sent to you through an email. All of our communication with our volunteers is sent out through emails. And because we need 1,000+ volunteers, having them all in a central online location compared to having them, in Excel sheets and on paper, is just a better way to keep everything together and keep track of them, make sure their accreditation is good for the areas that they need to be accessing.
Yeah, totally. So, and we get those complaints. So I shouldn't call them complaints, but questions like, why don't I just write my name on a piece of paper and, then you'll phone me a week before the games. And this is big. We're basically running a company here, and this is sort of like our HR software, right? So as much as it's obviously taking Stuart a little bit longer than it would to just write his name on a piece of paper, but down the line it helps us out big time.
That's definitely true. It's a little bit more complicated than just, I'm going to show up today and volunteer. It's a week-long event. We have to make sure our children are safe, our athletes are safe, and also our volunteers are safe. We want to make sure that they know that they're getting what they're getting into and how appropriately they can handle their job. We don't want to put anyone in a situation that they're uncomfortable or they don't know what's going on. We want them to be as informed as possible and make sure that we're taking proper care of them. Yeah.
For sure. So Stuart, what are you working through right there? What were you just clicking on? I saw a whole bunch of boxes turning black. So what was going on?
I think we're just looking to try and assess my skills, where to best place me. I just finished that section, so I'm on to availability. So now I got to really think, when am I going to get off work? I normally have some time in the afternoon, so I think that's when I'm going to be able to register to help volunteer.
And so it's just click boxes. It's got each of the days of the games, I think. Is that what you're looking at right now?
Yeah, it's right now going through morning. There's morning, afternoon, evening for all three, as you can see there, all the games. So you see, it's on the weekend. I can do all the day on the weekend. So just picking when you can do it and making sure you're available at that time, I guess.
That's good. Did Paul get your password? Does everybody know your secure password?
No, nobody knows it. It's my password. I'm not giving it to Paul.
I'll know it. Just throwing that out there. I will know it.
But the important thing is Paul won't know it.
Nobody will be giving anything to Paul. And the thing about your availability is if something changes and you're shifted in a time that you can't be able to be there, you can decline that shift. So then we can always go back in and change availability. But if you do get shifted, you can no longer attend. We have ways of working around that, and you won't be stuck in something you can't do.
So to give just a little bit of background on that, exactly what you said, again, another feature of this software is each of the sports now puts in a schedule, or each of the volunteer areas puts in a schedule. Stuart will get an email sometime saying, hey, do you want to help out with this at such and such a time, and you have to accept that shift, right? It isn't like we get to tell you exactly what to do.
No, you still have like a little bit of freedom in there. Okay? We appreciate that you're volunteering your time with us, so we can't stick you in anything that you ultimately can't be there. We're not paying you, so you can't force you to be there at all.
You haven't signed over. Yeah, you haven't signed over your life. Paul just calls me, and I have to go wherever he tells me to go. So I don't know. I don't think communications works the same as everybody else. Where are you at now, Stuart? What are you working on?
Filling out my emergency contact information.
Excellent. Is it Paul Anderson?
It is not Paul Anderson. I would not trust him. If I call, he's not coming.
Probably not. And again, emergency contact, just like we said, I think as the games have evolved, it's pretty impressive, the system in terms of, like you say, the child abuse registry checks, those kind of things, but protections that we have for the volunteers and just the whole safety aspect of the whole game.
Yeah, so we definitely don't want to end up in a situation where, like, we don't know who to contact if something happens to them, if they can't contact themselves. By all means, we don't anticipate any things like that happening, but we don't want to be left in a situation of not knowing who to get a hold of in case something does happen,
For sure, 30 years of games has got us somewhere. You're scrolling through like a whole bunch of little words. What do you got going on there now?
I think this is like the iTunes disclaimer. I don't think most people have read this, really. It's just talking about all the things you agreed to, I'm guessing, by signing up to volunteer.
And I'm pretty sure you're not going to read that. I'm probably not. Let's be realistic.
Nobody's
Nobody's going to read that. But I think you probably have access to it on email. So if you need to get some sleep later on in the week, you can read through that.
Yeah, I think, like I said, it's probably like the iTunes agreement. I don't think anyone has ever read through that thing. So Apple can just basically screw us over whenever, basically.
Perhaps these things happen. So once he's done the demo, it looks like he's sort of getting to the end. He's signing his life away in terms of clicking on I accept. What's the next step? What's going to come up for him now?
After he clicks apply, it'll complete his profile. But what we'll do is I'll go back into his profile under my login and we'll upload a picture for him.
Okay, so we're at the picture now.
Yeah.
He should start to fix his hair. Make sure you got your Manitoba Games gear on. We're all decked out. As I mentioned at the start too, just while you get that going, we're in the Manitoba Games store that's at the City Centre Mall in the Old People's location, right next to Rogers, and phenomenal looking store. I was so impressed when I walked into the mall today. It's nice and bright in here. We've got the banners, we got some new flags and scrim and stuff like that happening around here, so we invite people to come down. Keep an eye on social media for when the store's open, but definitely come down here and check it out. It's pretty cool. Now, you're just accepting Stuart as a volunteer to the games?
Yes, sir. And so we're going to get his, I'm going to take his picture and I'm going to upload it for him, and then his profile will be complete.
Wow, we're blistering through this. Let's get a picture of Stuart. Can I be in his picture?
No.
Wow. I would have liked a bigger smile. Your mom probably would have liked a bigger smile too, but no, he looks good. Show Paul. That's a good looking guy. Your wife is one lucky lady. So now we upload the picture. And that's the picture that'll go on to his accreditation, and that we'll be using for a lot of games promo, like posters, social media. No, I'm just kidding. It only goes on to his accreditation. So is that it? Is that basically? It's basically how we get registered. It's as easy as that, folks. www.manitobagames.ca is the place to go. Click on the big yellow arrow. That takes you to exactly the same thing that Stuart just did. Stuart, last thoughts on this. How was it?
Really easy. Especially if I didn't know what I was doing. She's right here to help me go through it, so it's easy.
For sure, and we can parachute you through any part of this process. So if you get started and then feel like you kind of ran out of steam on this and want some help, we got a bunch of people here with iPads and a whole bunch of knowledge. It's Play North, the Manitoba Games Show, the Manitoba Games, powered by Manitoba Hydro, are coming to Thompson March 4th to 10th. In the meantime, get signed up as a volunteer. Stuart Walter, Samantha Leahy, thanks for joining me. Don't forget.